minute now about, or a few minutes about the psychology of contests and giveaways. And basically, as you all know, a great deal of really good research, scientific research, has been done on college campuses around the world. And included in that research is research in social psychology. Now, all scientific research has to go through the peer review process. It's very painstaking and often very painful. But the research that we're going to talk a little bit about today went through that process and managed to make it through. And basically, it's taught in colleges and universities around the world. It's achieved scientific consensus. And using it well can make a big difference in your admissions marketing success. Let's see. Doing this right can make a big difference, I guess. Whether I get to give this talk on time. The leading researchers in this area are Dr. Robert Cialdini, just retired from Arizona State University. He has trained literally scores of corporate leaders, the Prime Minister of Great Britain, and is advising the President of the United States. Fortunately for me, he was nice enough to mentor me through a controlled self-study or directed self-study program a few years ago. In addition to that, is also Dr. Elliot Aronson, who is even more distinguished than Dr. Cialdini. He's the only psychologist in history to win each of the American Psychological Association's top awards. As for research, for writing, and for teaching, it's widely considered to be the equivalent of winning the Nobel Prize. So it's important to be able to understand this research and use it well because of the fact that, of course, you need to shake your students out of passive analysis mode and get them to do something, like inquire, also to visit campus, to apply, and to enroll. So in order to do this, a number of institutions will actually use giveaways and offers. Now these can range from things like offers to waive an application fee, to an offer to get something useful, some useful information, or perhaps a chance to win something that a student might want. Now giveaways and offers can be particularly useful in two areas. First of all, there's the search offer, and I'm sure you're all familiar with that. Some search providers, including the Allied Group, strongly recommend using an offer in a search campaign. Search programs that use offers well revolutionized the student search process a number of years ago. Now, the other reason that you would use an offer would be to drive students to a website, perhaps a Yield website, or a site to register for a campus visit, or other admissions-related activities, like perhaps an admitted student day program. Now you might wonder, why can offers be so powerful? Why are they so widely used? Well, first of all, it makes the decision to respond much easier. If you put yourself in the position of your prospective students, when they get their SAT or ACT scores back, they're getting literally deluged with mail, as you well know from all of your competitors, and of course, many times your institution as well. They've got to wade through all of this, and then they've got to make a decision, are they going to actually go on a site and request more information? But that's a bit of a large decision, that's a bit of a commitment that many students, as you know, many millennial students aren't willing to make. So we see now more and more stealth students, students doing a very quiet analysis on their own, never letting you know that they're interested in your institution until they suddenly send in an application or don't. So at any rate, what happens is by using an offer is much more emotionally easy for a student to respond to. It's not so emotionally risky just to go ahead and request that brochure or put in your name for a contest, whatever it might be. So it makes it easier to respond. Now, if that offer is structured correctly, though, and I must stress, it has to be structured correctly, both from a marketing standpoint and, more importantly, from a psychological standpoint, the student who accepts that offer actually will find, in many cases, that their interest is actually increasing. Now, the second reason, as we've mentioned, structured correctly, offers really work, and they've proven themselves to do that in many cases. The reason for this is what is commonly called in psychology the commitment principle, or more commonly the consistency principle. Basically what it says is that most people, it's about 80% of the population, will automatically feel that any commitment they make must be justified because they made it. So it's interesting, this is actually not something that's just been thought about and perhaps as a theory. This has been proved by no less than 1,000 controlled scientific studies. To quote Dr. Aronson, and to paraphrase him a little bit, it's almost as if a student who responds, say, to your search mailing, or something like this, has an automatic thought in the back of their mind go through that says, well, if an intelligent kid like me is responding to Assumption, or Southern New Hampshire University, or New England College, this must be a great school, because an intelligent kid like me would never do it unless it were a great school. And that's what actually seems to happen. They actually tend to feel more interest.